Good morning, everybody. Today is a very nice morning because it's raining very heavily. So we have natural air condition all over us. Okay, so we are gonna start learning about quadrilaterals. Actually, you started yesterday before me, and I hope that you have actually referred to the textbook, your 2A textbook, Maths. Okay, chapter 6, page 194. Wow, we are almost closing the 2A textbook already, guys. So we have to prepare our 2B textbook soon, okay? Alright, so anyway, what is it about quadrilaterals that we need to know? Okay, let's look over here. Alright, so what are the properties of quadrilaterals? So before we go into that, guys, I need you to know, because I just learned this on the internet. That's why I say there's many things for us to learn on the internet. So let's learn together, okay, guys? And if you know anything from the internet, also share with the rest of us, including your teachers. Okay, so I learned this. Quad. Okay, quad means 4. And lateral means side. Okay, so when we say quadrilaterals, it means 4 sides. Okay. Yep, so that's what I learned from the internet yesterday. Alright, now okay, so I'm going to just revise a little bit about angles that we have learned actually from secondary 1. Okay, so there are 2 properties here. I hope that you can see there are 2 properties here, property 1 and property 2. Now, what does property 1 say? Angle P, angle Q, angle R and angle S are all here, and if you actually add them up, angle P plus angle Q plus angle R plus angle S, you're gonna get 360 degrees. Now this rule is called the angles at a point, okay, which means that if you were to add up angle P plus angle Q plus angle R plus angle S all the way, you come back to the starting position at angle P there, you will get 360 degrees. So that is called angles at a point. Okay, now what else did we learn in secondary 1? We also learned about vertically opposite angles. Okay, what are vertically opposite angles? So now I'm going to show you. Okay, so I have angle P, for example, here. Okay, and angle S, they are actually opposite each other. Okay, so angle P and angle angle R, angle P and angle R are actually equal to each other. So if let's say angle P, okay, angle P, look, it's actually very big, right? It's more than 90 degrees. So let's say I'm guessing it more than 90. So let's say I put it at 130 degrees. If angle P is 130 degrees, then vertically opposite it is angle R. Angle R is also 130 degrees. That is vertically opposite angles. They are equal. And angle S and angle Q, they are also vertically opposite each other. Okay, look, angle S and angle Q, they are also vertically opposite each other. Okay, so if let's say angle P is 130, then angle S will be how much? Angle S will be 180 minus 130. So angle S will be 50 degrees. Oops, sorry, extra. What is this one extra? Okay, 50 degrees. Okay, so if angle S is 50 degrees, then angle Q is also 50 degrees. They are vertically opposite each other. So you find one, you find the other. Okay, alright. So, and of course, you have to also take note that it must be, these 2 rules can only be applied if AB, okay, the line AB over here is a straight line, and CD are straight lines also. Okay, it's a straight line as well. So AB and CD must be straight line, and then they intersect here, and then we can get these 2 rules. Okay, so that's got nothing to do with quadrilaterals, everybody. This is just a revision of set 1 work. Okay, now we go. Oops, sorry. Now we go and look at properties of quadrilaterals. Okay, turn to page 195. Okay, turn to your textbook. As we are doing this, turn to your textbook. Okay, now let's read at the top over here. Okay, which is why I say it's very important, guys, for you to read your textbook, because your textbook actually has all the information you need. Okay, alright, now quadrilaterals are shapes with 4 sides. There you go, quadrilaterals. Okay, quad means 4 and laterals means side, so that's why quadrilaterals are shapes with 4 sides. So any 4-sided figure, whether it looks like this or whether it looks like this, Okay, I'm trying the same thing. I know it looks like this. As long as there are 4 sides, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. As long as there are 4 sides, they are called quadrilaterals. Okay, so of course the quadrilaterals that you first met would have been rectangle and square in primary school. Okay, which you will also see here because rectangles and squares are quadrilaterals. They got 4 sides. Okay, so now let's look. The following shows different types of quadrilaterals with 1 or 2 or no parallel sides. So there could be 1 pair of parallel sides over here, 2 pairs of parallel sides, or no parallel sides at all. So what are parallel sides? Now let me show you, okay, by looking at the first example, first type of quadrilateral over here. Now this is called a trapezium. Now if you look at YouTube video, sometimes you will hear people calling it trapezoid. Trapezoid sounds like an alien, a trapezoid. Okay, so anyway, trapezoid or trapezium, they are basically referring to this shape, 4-sided figure, quadrilateral with, okay, look, we have only 1 pair of parallel sides. Now take note, pair means there will be 2. Okay, a pair means 2, right? So there will be 2 lines that are parallel to each other. So a pair means it's like a couple that are parallel to each other. So if you look at this trapezium, okay, we have one side over here and another side over here, and these 2 sides are parallel to each other. What does parallel mean? Means that if you were to extend these 2 lines until eternity, forever and ever, they will never meet, guys. That's what it means by parallel. Okay, they will never meet. So for a trapezium, they have 1 pair of parallel sides. Let me erase everything so that you can see the beautiful trapezium here. Okay, so you can see that there are 2 sides that are parallel to each other, this side and this side. Okay, so this is a trapezium. Now what about these 2 sides over here? Are they parallel to each other? This side and this side? No, they are not. If you were to extend the 2 lines, it will probably meet somewhere far, far away. So they are not parallel to each other. So the trapezium property is they have 1 pair of parallel sides. Which side? Okay, so you have to look the one that has the arrow here and here. These 2 sides are parallel to each other. Alright, now what about this kite? I'm going to look at this kite. Okay, so that's type number 1, trapezium. Type number 2, kite. Okay, now for a kite, they have no parallel sides, meaning that side AB, if you look at side AB and side CD, they are not parallel. There's no arrow to indicate that they are parallel. Okay, what do I mean by arrow? This arrow here. Okay, if you look at the trapezium, there's the arrow. It means parallel, right? For this kite over here, there are no parallel sides. Okay, AB and CD, the one that I'm showing here, okay, they are not parallel to each other. What about the other side? Okay, BC and AD, are they parallel? They are also not parallel to each other. So a kite is very interesting. They have no parallel sides. It's just 4-sided figure. But what is so special about a kite? Okay, let me show you what's so special about a kite. Okay, now a kite, this side and this side, AB and AD, they are equal in length. And this side, BC and CD, they are equal in length to each other. Okay, so meaning that if AB, let's say, is 10 cm, then AD will also be 10 cm. It's like an isosceles triangle, guys. We learned this in the first unit about triangles. So it's like an isosceles triangle. Okay, AB and AD are equal in length. Okay, they are an ABD is an isosceles triangle. Now, what about BC and DC? They are also equal to each other, which means that BCD is also an isosceles triangle, which means that if BC is, let's say, 13 cm, then CD will also be 13 cm. Okay, example. Alright, so that's a kite. Although they have no parallel sides, but they have lengths that are equal to each other. Okay. Alright, now next one. Okay, I'm gonna erase this part so that you can see the beautiful kite. Okay. Alright, now the rest of the parallelograms that the rest of the quadrilaterals that you are going to learn about. Okay, let's look over here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 types. Now let me just look at the types that you are familiar with first. Okay, now we have this entire group. Okay, this entire group over here in the middle column. Okay, this entire group has 2 pairs of parallel sides. Okay, 2 pairs of parallel sides, which means that let's look at the first one. We have parallelogram. Now parallelogram, learn to pronounce, not parallelogram. Okay, has 2 pairs of parallel sides. Where are the 2 pairs? This is the first pair. Pair number 1. Okay, pair number 1. Side 1, side 2, they are parallel to each other. How do I know? The arrow, 1 arrow, 1 arrow. They are parallel to each other. And then where's the other pair? Number 3 and number 4 forms another pair. Okay, and they are parallel to each other. 3 and 4 are parallel to each other. How I know? 2 arrow, 2 arrow. So 2 arrow, 2 arrow matching. These line 3 and line 4, they are parallel to each other. So a parallelogram is a quadrilateral that has 2 pairs of parallel sides. Let's have a look at this beautiful shape here. Okay, there you go. Okay, so we have 2 pairs, pair number 1 and pair number 2. Okay, so this looks like a rectangle, right guys? Parallelogram, except that a parallelogram is slanted. It's not 90 degrees over here. Okay, it's not 90 degrees over here. So if I were to compare a parallelogram with a rectangle, oops, sorry everybody. Okay, let's go back to that. Okay, if I were to compare a parallelogram with a rectangle, they are almost the same, right? Rectangle also has 2 pairs of parallel sides. This pair, the top and bottom, are parallel to each other, and the second pair, the left and the right, are parallel to each other. Okay, but the only difference between parallelogram and rectangle is that, you see, rectangle, the angle is 90 degrees at the 4 corners. What is 90 degrees? Right angle, right? So we can call it right angle or 90 degrees. Okay, so that's for a rectangle. Whereas parallelogram, the angle here is not 90 degrees. Okay, not 90 degrees. So what if they become 90 degrees? Then they become a rectangle. Parallelogram will transform to a rectangle, to become a rectangle, when the angles at the corners, at the 4 corners, are 90 degrees. Transformers. Okay, so anyway, over here, okay, I want you to also take note of this about rectangles and parallelograms. Okay, now the parallel sides are equal in length. So what am I talking about? Miss Wala, what are you talking about? And imagine Haris is saying it to me. Okay, meaning that the 2 parallel sides, for example, the top one, let's say I call this A and B. These 2 sides, they are equal in length. Not only are they parallel, they are equal in length, which means that if A is equals to, let's say, 10 cm, then B will also be equals to 10 cm. Now, what about the left and right, Miss Waila? Okay, the left and the right side over here, okay, let's call them C and D, side C and D, they are parallel to each other. They are also equal to each other, which means that if C is equals to, let's say, 8 cm, then D will also be equals to 8 cm. Isn't that the same as the rectangle? Yes, guys. So, rectangle, as you have learned in primary school, okay, the 2 sides here, they will be, not only are they parallel to each other, now you know that they are parallel, they are also equal in length to each other. So, if let's say this is 12 cm, this will also be 12 cm. What about the left and right? Yes, left and right also the same. We have, let's say, if this is 8 cm, the other side also 8 cm. Okay, guys, so that's parallelogram. Okay, now, a special kind of parallelogram where all the 4 sides are equal has a special name. Okay, let me erase them. Okay, so that you can see the beautiful shape. Okay, a special kind of parallelogram where all the 4 sides are equal in length has a special name. It's called rhombus. Okay, so rhombus is just like a parallelogram. Okay, we have 2 pairs of parallel sides. Okay, these 2 sides are parallel to each other, top and bottom, left and right. But the special thing about rhombus is it is a special kind of parallelogram. all the four sides are equal. Okay, which means that if let's say one side over here is 5 cm, this side is also 5 cm, this side is also 5 cm, and the other side is also 5 cm. Then what about a square? Isn't that just like a square? Perfect, guys. If you have that in mind, then you're right. A square is like a rhombus where all the four sides are equal. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. All the four sides are equal. But what's the difference between a square and a rhombus? It is the same difference as the difference between a parallelogram and a rectangle. The angles at the corner, guys. The angles at the corner. So for a rectangle, the angles are at the corner. Observe, observe, observe. The four angles are 90 degrees. But is it so for a rhombus? Is it? Is it? Is it? No. For a rhombus, it is not 90 degrees. Right? You can see that these are all not 90 degrees. Okay, less than 90, more than 90, less than 90, more than 90. So for a rhombus to become a square, the rhombus must transform itself so that all the four corners are 90 degree angles. Then a rhombus will be a square. Okay, but why would you want to be anybody else but yourself, right? Okay, but they are related clearly. They are like cousins, right? Because they have all four sides that are equal. Okay, so now that you have learned about all these quadrilaterals, I would like you to actually, oops, sorry, oh my god, I'm vandalizing my own work. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, so now that you have seen all these, okay, I'm erasing so that you can see the beautiful quadrilaterals that you've learned about today. Okay. Alright, so now that you've seen, okay, all this, alright, and let me minimize it a bit. Oops, sorry. Okay, so over here, and you have the 6 types of quadrilaterals that you've learned about. I would like you to actually sorry, I would like you to actually do the Kahoot quiz again. Okay, so that this time you do much better than yesterday because you are learning about quadrilaterals for the second time. Okay, so the more you learn, the more you understand. But in order for you to test whether you really understand, test yourself by doing questions inside the workbook or inside the textbook at the practice page, and also doing my Kahoot quiz, and do it better this time. Okay, guys? Okay, that's all for today's lesson. Okay, happy learning about quadrilaterals, and also you, like many of you said, you can actually have breakfast while you are learning. So, and have a good breakfast, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.